One of the most important keys to life is your mental health. Mickey Ann once quoted that it's exhausting to fight a war inside of your head each and every single day. What does this mean to me and you? Imagine you're at work or school, feeling overwhelmed, but you smile and push through the day. No one notices the battle you're fighting inside with anxiety, depression, or stress. Now imagine you're told to snap out of it or that your struggle is all in your head. How would that make you feel? My name is Lance Samuels, and unfortunately, mental health is something that affects each and every one of us. It tends to get ignored, which is why we have so many people struggling internally. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 4 people will be affected by mental health or neurological disorders at some point in their lives. We live in a world where people feel ashamed to admit that they are struggling. Why is that, you ask? Because we still associate mental health with weakness, failure, or being broken. However, mental health is not a sign of weakness. It is just as real as physical illness, if not sometimes worse. Can you imagine a world where we treat someone with cancer the way we treat someone with depression? Imagine telling someone with broken legs to walk it off. It sounds absurd, right? Yet that's exactly what we do with mental health. According to the World Health Organization, mental health disorders are among the leading causes of disabilities globally, with depression alone costing the global economy nearly 1 trillion in lost productivity every single year. Companies are feeling strained. Poor mental health leads to decreased job performances, higher absenteeism, and more work conflicts. Investing in mental health not only benefits the individual, but it is also an economic imperative that we cannot afford to ignore. These alarming facts and figures paint a clear picture of the problem, but as any crisis, there are opposing viewpoints that need to be addressed. In order to move forward effectively, oftentimes we hear that mental health is a personal issue. Critics argue that people should be held accountable and not use public resources or allocate funds for personal weakness. Another common opposition to expanding mental health care is the idea that the treatment costs would be way too high. Critics argue it's an undue financial burden on governments and public institutions. After reading an article on NSC, National Safety Council, I see studies show that the return on investments for mental health care is substantial. For every dollar invested in mental health treatment, there's an estimated return of $4 in improved health and productivity outcomes. In fact, early interventions and support for mental health not only saves money in the long run, but also leads to a healthier, more productive workforce, thereby benefiting the economy as a whole. The reality, however, is that the current infrastructure is insufficient for the rise in demand. According to the report by the National Alliance on Mental Health Illness, the number of mental health professionals available is far below what we need to meet the demand, especially. In rural areas, underserved areas, investing in training more specialists, expanding access to care, and using innovative approaches like telehealth to ensure everyone has access to the help they need. Imagine a society where people are not only encouraged to seek help, but are actively supported by accessible resources. From mental health education in schools to comprehensive healthcare system that integrates mental health services. If only workplaces prioritize the well-being of their employees and where families no longer have to bear the stigma of mental health illness alone. This vision sounds nice, right? Well, it can happen. And in fact, it's achievable. With the right steps in place, it can become a reality. To make it a reality, we must advocate for increased funding and support for mental health services at both the local and national levels. This includes insurance plans that cover mental health services equally to physical health services. We must also fight the stigma surrounding mental illness by opening conversations, raising awareness, and offering educational resources. Lastly, if we all take our own steps and check in on one another, be a listening ear, have a good work-life balance, or even practice self-care, that is a positive step in the right direction. Working together can build a more supportive society where mental health is prioritized, not just in healthcare systems, but in every part of life. The path to solving this crisis is not simple. It is certainly in our reach. If we work together to create change, in closing, mental health is more than just a buzzword. It's a call for action. It's a global crisis that affects millions, yet often overlooked, misunderstood, and stigmatized. The consequences of neglecting mental health are far-reaching, important not only individuals, but society as a whole. Now it's time to take a stand. By advocating for more funding, reducing stigma, and taking proactive steps to support mental health, we can create a world where everyone has access to the care and resources they need. Now remember, when we take care of our minds, we take care of our future. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.